Ja's a lost cause. I'm starting to believe that.
Damn.
Why would you do that considering all he's been through?
I don't know.
And they didn't do anything. They gave him a warning.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the NBA, I throw my hands up and just say, do we really want to promote this guy, put him out front, want this guy to be one of the faces of the league or just somebody that gets it? I don't think he gets it. If I'm Memphis ownership and management, I got to question myself. Do I really want to go forward with Ja Morant?
You have to.
I'm serious.
He's having a great year when he's been healthy.
But I'm serious.
But it's a real conversation.
Like maybe like he's just not for Memphis or this organization, or he needs a clean start up somewhere else.
Maybe a job for a Devin Booker. That's a possibility. Rob Parker goes off on Ja Morant. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
NBA got it right. They just said, hey, we'd rather not. Can you just knock it off? Just we're giving you just a warning. And what does your guy Ja do? And this is what I was talking about being off the map. Like he does it again.
Young and dumb.
He does it and explain.
So Ja Morant, you got to go back a couple of days ago to Rob's point. You and I talked about it, as did most people, He did got into it with the Warriors a couple nights back, he and Buddy Hill Buddy Hill does a whole thing to him. Ja does it to them. He's going to the sideline.
Looks like he's got a gun.
I hate to sound like all the kids are doing it, but all the kids are doing it. And they're just like a little
but they're not wearing NBA uniforms.
Right. No, but I'm talking about even in the NBA. So Ja does it back. You and I talk about it's not the smartest thing knowing your history, but we'll see what the league does. Boom. Yesterday we come in, we talk about it. The league got it right. They said, hey, man, as you mentioned, don't do that. Look, it can be, quote, perceived in a negative light.
Yep.
And that was that. We thought, all right, good, man. Ja, you know what? They understood he wasn't trying to be demonstrative with it like that. They got over it. We both actually, we give you credit for getting it right. What does he do? Last night, Rob, he went ahead and did it again.
Yeah, he's not going to learn his lesson. He's going to have to end up, losing a sponsorship. Yeah, $75K, that's a huge hit for the everyday average American. But if you're Ja Morant making 40, 50 million plus per year, 75K is like 1,000 to him. He can make that back up in a few seconds in the NBA game. So he may not learn until suspensions come about. Maybe Nike talks about, ending their partnership, Powerade, or any other brand that's working with them. That's the only way he's going to learn. It's going to have to be a bigger hit. It can't be 75K. It got to be a multi-million-dollar contract, sponsors pulling away, trade talks. Like once he starts hearing that, that's when all that, gestures and waving his hands, it'll end. Even if Buddy Hill started it, they looking at you to finish it. So you got to be mindful of that if you're Ja Morant. Got to grow up, bro.
Oh, and then again, and then allegedly thrice, but the allegedly is because it didn't air on the broadcast, but if you were in the arena, people saw it. So the league goes ahead and they fine him $75,000 for it.
And rightfully so.
Easy.
We talked about it before. You can do anything you want when you're not wearing a team's uniform and they're paying you millions of dollars. There's standards, there's rules, there's a CBA, there's a morals clause. Do you know what I mean? Like it goes with it. You know this, being in television or radio. Yeah. Certain things you can't do. It doesn't even on
seriously.
Your even on your
social page and stuff.
Even on your off time, your own thoughts or whatever. You represent a company, an organization. And I think Ja's a lost cause. I'm starting to believe that. Damn. Why would you do that considering all he's been through?
I don't know.
And they didn't do anything. They gave him a warning. And it was their quote say, I don't care.
I don't know if Ja's a lost cause just because he's not really like a career-ending injury or in and out. He missed a lot of games, but for the most part, as long as he's a huge draw for the networks, airing the Memphis Grizzlies game, as long as he can jump out the gym, make game winners, he won't be a lost cause as far as the NBA and them making money. But maybe outside the NBA, he needs to kind of really rethink his strategy, how he's moving out there. Maybe it's just, something on TV and he's being reckless like that. Hopefully he's not reckless off the court. He had a little couple situations here and there, but nothing crazy in a club or just, riding around. But I don't know if he got opt out there. Don't know if he's infatuated with the gangster lifestyle. But I just think he's young and dumb and just defiant, doing what he wants to do, calling the league's bluff. Like, what are you going to do about it? He did it first, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to make my point. Maybe he was like, okay, they're going to find me. I'll chill out for a few games. And when the playoffs start, if they make it there, he'll probably do it again. So, again, it's going to have to to be much more than 75K. Those brands and companies, they're going to have to pull away from him.
He said that?
Yeah. I just
that.
saw like a flash. I didn't see the story. So
yeah, I didn't see that.
But I'm just saying, if I'm the NBA, I throw my hands up and just say, do we really want to promote this guy, put him out front, want this guy to be one of the faces of the league, or just somebody that gets it? I don't think he gets it.
Yeah, that face of the league, that's a wrap. That ended after the second suspension with the weapon when he served the 25 games. It was over. Cost himself $40 million. Would have thought he would have learned his lesson then. But if somebody does it to him, I guess he feels as though I'm going to do it back and I'm going to just keep doing it. That just shows him being young, dumb, and defiant. Him being like, you know what? Shoot, I want to be the NBA young boy of the NBA. You can do that maybe off the court in your own private time, but when you start publicly doing certain things and the league is seeing it, yeah, they're going to keep finding you. And again, those suspensions going to come raining back down. So him being the face of the NBA, I think that's a wrap. Right now, you're probably looking at Luka, Wembanyama, Jason Tatum, maybe a Jaylen Brown, don't know, but there's a lot of players out there that are probably better than Ja Morant, but you don't have to worry about them, doing dumb things like this and trying to show up the league. So again, Ja Morant, he'll never be the face of the NBA.
It is a complex story with him because, again, you go back to the stuff that happened 2 years ago, and then we go to this season. And I think what we're dealing with here is Ja not understanding the difference between self-inflicted trouble versus out to get you trouble, meaning like people are just out against me.
I don't know how somebody gives you a warning and says,
that's what I'm saying. So self-inflicted is you've put yourself in this situation multiple times, having real live guns in clubs, drunk, intoxicated, flashing the online. Getting in trouble for that, but okay, fine, we kind of move on. Got the on your Instagram Live. These are real life issues that you put yourself in. Those are self-inflicted trouble issues, right?
Yeah, no one's after Ja Morant. He's doing it to himself. Self-inflicted issues. It's not like the league is just, going off on him randomly and things like that. This is all him. You know that you can't get away with certain things. I don't care who started it first. Ja, they're looking at you. The league doesn't care about Buddy Hield. They'll probably find him a couple tens of thousands and he'll learn his lesson. He's not making the type of money you're making. He's making his millions, but he don't want to lose a random 75, 100K, every couple games. If you're Ja Morant, who cares? You got to play it safe. Got to play it right, man. Know your role and just play basketball.
And what it seems like, because after the other day, when we go, okay, the league got it right, Ja Morant actually put up a story on his Instagram, and he said, quote, "Some people will only love you if you fit in their box. Don't be afraid to disappoint." And again, I get the feeling Ja Morant feels like the league is out to get him. People are out to get him. Media is out to get him. When in fact, I don't think that's the case at all. I think the media would love for you to be one of those guys because you were personable, you danced, you smiled, your electric style of play. I think the NBA wanted you to be one of the faces because you got a great smile, you're electric style of play, you're fun. And I think they looked at you as, yes, we got a new crop of young guys we can promote. I don't think the league was out to get you. I don't think the media is out to get you. I don't think people are trying to portray you as a villain. Now, did people probably go too far questioning your character? Yes. Did people probably go too far trying to, break down and have thesis on who you are and trying to be gangster? Maybe so, and I can see how that would be offensive. But the league gave you another chance, a little slap on the wrist, and you did it not once, but twice and allegedly thrice in a game the very next day.
Right, you just did it in their face. You told them. And that's
just in a game the very next day.
Right. Yeah, again, man, Ja ain't learning his lesson. He don't care. He don't care about Adam Silver. Had an opportunity to be the face of the NBA, but they're not going to push somebody that's just kind of being defiant like that and just doing what he wants to do. Ja Morant missed out on a huge opportunity, maybe not to be talked about like a LeBron because you're not going to have too much players that are even close to that realm, but he could have been talked about, in good graces for about 10 plus years now, but by him kind of doing what he wanted to do, waving the and doing the hand gestures, it really cost them being the face of the NBA. They're not going to promote Ja Morant. Maybe they'll, put his teams out there on national television, but that's pretty much all you're going to get with Ja. They're not really going to push him, but if he's having a good month and a good season, they're going to talk about him, but he'll never be the face of the NBA. Ain't happening.
Right, you just did it in their face. You
And
told
that's
them.
it's just not smart. And I know he was doing it to his own sideline.
It doesn't matter. They told him not to do it. It doesn't matter who he's doing it to. They already warned you.
They did.
They gave you a warning. Don't do this.
And he turned
and he did it. And he did it anyway.
And the amount of times matter to me because we are creatures of habit, Rob.
No. Once somebody brings it to your attention,
I'm
hearing you. He's an adult. Come on, man.
Here's the only reason why I say that.
Way too lenient.
No,
like
here's the only reason why I say that though. Right now we're watching baseball, right? Literally, those guys are guys of routine. You know this, maybe more than any other sport. So if a guy comes up, hits his shoes with his bat, and then he does like some little motion that they say, hey, you can't do. He's done it hundreds of thousands of times. That's his thing. So I'm even saying maybe Ja hits it and looks at his teammates and does it because he thinks, oh, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it to the opposing team.
I think you're being lenient.
No, hear me. Just hear me where I'm going with this.
No, because they didn't say to anybody, don't do it is what they said.
Right, but I'm saying if he's only thinking don't mean in a taunting, demonstrative way, like I'm just doing it to my teammates, that's our little celebration, then you could say, all right, maybe the first time because he thought, oh, I'm just doing it to me. There's no way someone on the team doesn't go, hey, man, assistant coach, hey, Ja, you just got in trouble. Let's chill. No way, coach. No way somebody doesn't tell him, hey, man, even to us in a fun, cool with your teammates way, don't do that either.
If I'm Memphis ownership and management, I got to question myself. Do I really want to go forward with Ja Morant?
You have to.
I'm serious.
He's having a great year when he's been healthy.
But I'm serious.
But it's a real conversation.
Like maybe like he's just not for Memphis or this organization, or he needs a clean start up somewhere else. What would you do if you were in the front office or an owner? Is it time to move Ja Morant, or is it time to just say, we just got to move the guy and get the best we can, or do something else? Because something's not connecting here. Like he went through the suspension, came back. When he plays, he's fine.
Yeah.
And then to have this,
he's been balling too. He's a game winner.
And then to come back and do the same exact thing when they tell you not to do it, it's disheartening.
As far as Ja Morant being a creature of a habit and doing the gestures, I get what he's saying, but at the same time, if you knew the league gave you a warning, why continually do that? I think he was taunting the league. He wasn't just, trying to show his teammates he made a shot. It was more of a slap in the face for Adam Silver. So he knows what he's doing. He's a grown man, so I'm not going to make that excuse and be like, okay, he should know and he's just a creature of habit. He's doing it on purpose. And as far as the Memphis Grizzlies trading Ja Morant after the Luka Doncic trade, other than Steph Curry and LeBron, pretty much anybody can go. So I'm sure they're exploring options, but who's really out there that's on the talent level with the Ja Morant that you can get? Even though KD, he's talking about potentially being traded and the front office is looking to move him, I don't think you do that if you're the Memphis Grizzlies. A Ja for a KD, maybe a Ja for a Devin Booker. That's a possibility. Don't know if he's happy or not happy in Phoenix, but other than that, you got to keep Ja Morant unless further notice, unless he starts getting in trouble off the court. But other than the gestures and stuff like that, I don't think they trade him, but it is a conversation to have.